Everybody, we are going to take a few minutes this morning and install these really cool vinyl decals that I got from Tango Victor Delta here on my Platinum. I think the silver itself looks kind of stupid, so I really think the Platinum here is going to help it stand out and look a little bit better. There's the written instructions that you should have been able to download and print. We're going to just go through these. I'm going to show you how this process works. It's fairly easy to do and not overly complicated. The most important thing to do at the beginning is going to be really important is a surface preparation. Now, counterintuitive to a lot of vehicle care, we actually want to make sure there's not any wax or other things underneath the vinyl. We want it to be bond directly to the metal or to the paint, depending on where it is you're sticking your vinyl decals. So in this case, we want to take a little bit of denatured alcohol, and we're going to use that to clean out, as well as I've got some waterless car wash from Chemical Guys that's really good to make sure I've got any dirt or anything else first. So we're going to take just a second here and do a little bit of prep work on the back of the truck so that we can make sure our decals clean. Now, when you're doing this, you want to make sure you get your microfiber cloth or something else that's soft and safe on your paint down into these gaps. And in the case of some of these, it's pretty challenging to do. So if you take a Q-tip, soak it in a little bit of the alcohol, you can get that down into those gaps really well, so you can make sure that surface is really clean. And then the alcohol will evaporate out without leaving any residues, so you can just take and wipe inside all the letters there. Now, sometimes you'll see a little bit of a string or something else, a piece of cotton left back behind from the Q-tip. And that, if you see something like that, just take your microfiber and wipe it out so that we don't have anything left back behind to get in the way of the bonding of our decals. Okay, nice and clean surface. All right, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to use the wet method to apply these decals. The wet method means we're going to use just some standard water and dish soap. We're going to spray a couple of sprays on the surface of the vehicle as well as to the back of the decal. The adhesive that's used on these particular decals is solvent-based or an oil-based, so we can use water without affecting the adherence of the decal itself, but it'll allow us to kind of maneuver it and get it in place, especially on some of these letters where there's these really tight gaps. It'll help us get it in place really well. So it's just 6 ounces of water to 3 or 4 drops of dish soap. And that dish soap, too, as you know, will also eat wax or other things. So if there's anything left behind, that will take it off. So if you're doing this on a painted surface after you do the application, you're going to want to make sure to put a wax or some kind of a protectant back on your paint because you'll have eaten it off with your soap. So we're going to take and just use a squirt right here on. Of course, my squirt bottle is not going to work. Just a little squirt there on the surface. And when you're pulling these decals, it's really important, as it says here on the sticker too, don't try and peel them or something else. Take a little bit of like painter's tape or masking tape or something and stick it to the corner of the decal. And then we're going to gently pull it up. Sometimes it takes a couple of tries to get them to stick because the decals are adhered as well. There we go. Then be very careful, especially on the letters of these, so they don't bend. We're going to take and put a little bit of soap on the backside. And it's going to be kind of like sticking a wet noodle to the back of your truck. But just push and hold it in place. Once you kind of get it semi-set, and take and peel off the tape. very gently so you don't tear the vinyl. Okay, and then because it's all wet, we can slide it and shift it till we're really happy with the placement of the decal itself. Just like that. Once you have it in place, you're going to want to take and squeegee it. Now, you can use your thumb to hold it in place and press. I also like to take a Q-tip here and scoot it along to kind of help get it into some of those gaps that are a little bit tighter. But our goal here is to try to squeegee out the water that is left back behind a decal. And don't worry if you don't get all of it out. That soap will dry and evaporate, especially as you get out and about. You want to just get it stuck as best as you can. It's also really important to make sure if you're seeing any air bubbles or anything in there, that you get those out at this point, because anything of that nature that you leave back behind will be there permanently. All right. And there we go. We have our first letter applied. Just go ahead and get it all pressed in there tight. And then we're going to just go ahead and repeat that process for the rest of the letters across the tailgate. And there we go. We're all done. We'll let that dry, and then we'll take a little waterless car wash and clean off the metal. Be very careful not to get this wet for 24 hours till it cures, and you're all done.